Hello guys, my name is Anna and I'm from Ukraine, and I vlog daily from my country to keep you updated on my experiences during this awful times war with Russia. But I also want you to see the way we are going to win in this war and try to explain you the peculiarities of Ukrainian national character, our history, and whatever interests you. And today I have decided to take you to our local memorial because we celebrate the Day of Freedom and Dignity on the 21st of November, and many of you have asked me about Euromaidan, which is also known as the Revolution of Dignity, and today is the day when I'm going to explain you more about this day, the revolution and its importance for the modern Ukrainian history. This is a monument that stands on Memorial in the center of Lutsk, and it commemorates the Volyn members of the Heavenly Hundred. And the Heavenly Hundred are those brave young people, unarmed, who died during the Revolution of Dignity, fighting for democratic European choice of our people against pro-Russian puppet government and President Yanukovych. And personally, I hate filming graves, and this is the real grave of Vasil Moisei, who studied in Lutsk, and his friends, all of whom come from Volyn region, and they died heroically while protecting our choice. Here are their names and their portraits, and many people come here to commemorate their death and their heroism, burning candles. And the most tragic days are in February, on the 21st, 22nd of February, and you see February is often tragic for Ukrainian people. Like this year, we had the start of war. Back in 2014, we had many victims of Yanukovych regime, but we managed to keep the memory and keep faith in our future, Ukrainian future. So what is the story behind the Revolution of Dignity that started on the 21st of November 2013? At that time, we had an awful criminal president, Yanukovych, who was falsely elected as a president with a huge support of Russian money and pro-Russian funded parties, and he became a president totally irrespectable of Ukrainian language, traditions, and so on. He was twice to prison for stealing fur hats, those that were so popular in Soviet Union, so you can imagine the level of his morale. And he was honestly stupid. There were millions of jokes that demonstrated his low IQ, and many Ukrainians felt really humiliated by the fact that he is our president. But still, we were patient and did not do anything bad until he decided to totally change the direction of Ukrainian future. In our constitution, we have fixed the movement of Ukraine in the direction of Europe, European Union, NATO, and he decided to stop Euro integration of Ukraine and to turn into the direction of trade union with Russia, thus turning Ukraine into a colony like Belarus. People were very angry about that and started to protest. And it all began on the 21st of November when he decided not to sign one of the EU documents demonstrating the EU association and future movement in that direction of Ukraine. People went on protest, and it all was very peaceful, very beautiful, and very intellectual until on the 30th of November, President's police beat Ukrainian students. Students were beaten, and many people all over Ukraine became extremely angry with this fact, because these were the best representatives of Ukrainian youth who were standing peacefully with flags for Ukrainian European future, and they were beaten by those who did not have any right to do that, because that was a peaceful protest and Ukrainians are always for that. So after this fact became known to global Ukrainian public, people went out to protest on the streets, and there were hundreds of thousands. And as a result, the true revolution started. For almost a month and a half it was peaceful, but later when Yanukovych and his family realized that they are losing their positions under the pressure of Putin and his regime, also he started using police, he started using guns against Ukrainian people, and there were lots of victims. They are now known as Heavenly 100. They were shot in the center of Kyiv on peaceful streets, just demonstrating for our European choice and of course against the Yanukovych regime and pro-Russian policy for Ukraine. These people were killed by Berkut, by other representative of president forces. They did not have any helmets, any bulletproof vests, because they did not expect something that awful can happen, and they were shot by snipers. So imagine, in the center of your capital, when you want to talk to your president, you are shot by snipers who are hiding on the roofs of various institutions and organizations. But Ukrainians are not Russians. They are not afraid of arrests, and they are not even afraid to fall victims of such regimes, because there is something inside of us that does not let us accept such kind of attitude. And you see, despite this Heavenly 100, more than 100 people who died or disappeared during these awful days, Ukrainians continue to protest, and Yanukovych fled from Ukraine. He escaped, taking lots of money, taking his supporters. He escaped. And pretty quickly the parliament announced that we return back to our constitution and we continue our movement in the direction of the European Union. That's why for many of you this revolution is known as Euromaidan, but it is definitely more than that. I personally think that the name, the Revolution of Dignity, is pretty good for this event, because it demonstrates that dignity is one of the core elements of Ukrainian national character. And I don't know how come, seeing this revolution that Russian propaganda calls a coup, seeing this revolution, seeing that we will not accept fake presidents, we don't want to return back and to become a part of the new USSR or a Russian Empire colony, how come Putin believed he can win this war, starting it on the 24th of tragic February 2022, but soon this will lead to the fall of his empire, just as the Yanukovych decision to turn into back into Russian trade union resulted in the fact that here now in 2020 we are already candidates to the European Union, much closer than it was back in 2013, in 2014. So I'm really proud today to be Ukrainian, and perhaps we will lit a candle in the memory of those who fell, who don't know that we have this war with Russia, or maybe they know and protect us as angels now. But I'm really proud that my country and my people demonstrate so much bravery, and the fact that such things as dignity, freedom, independence and democracy, they mean a lot, and they are real. They are not just beautiful words in documents, they are real values. I don't want to re-record this, please forgive me. These are real values that are inside of us, in our hearts, and I think that's important. But please think today about thousands of Ukrainians who die in our modern history for freedom and democracy, and please finally accept us as a part of the civilized democratic world. Do not see us as a zone of influence of Russia. Do not see us as a post-Soviet republic. See us as a beautiful, strong, independent nation, and all of us will benefit from the fall of Russian terrorism regime and inclusion of Ukraine into the European and global democratic family. And I'm really sorry that so many young and beautiful people will never know about that. But once again, maybe they will see that from heaven. When I was filming this video, children were coming back from school, and one boy stood next to me watching what I'm doing, and I was thinking that I don't want any more boys to sacrifice their lives for the sake of freedom and independence of Ukraine, but I already know they will. So at least their sacrifice must return back to our nation, to our country, with freedom, with happiness and strength. I'm very grateful for the attention that you give to my channel. Please subscribe, because I believe the world needs to know more about Ukraine, and I'm really happy to answer your questions, so feel free to leave them in comments. Thank you very much for buying me coffees, becoming my patrons. Please be careful, as there are lots of scammers who try commenting and inviting you to WhatsApp and Telegram. I never do that. I always communicate with you either directly as Anna from Ukraine, or you can write me an email. You can find it in the description on my channel. Please be careful. I always report them too, because I never invite you to any financial things. Thank you for being with Ukraine. Slava Ukraini!